So the last time I was on here talking about avian influenza, it was like during the big scare. It was 2022, and I did a whole bunch of videos about it, and I told myself after I was done with that, if I never do another video about bird flu, it will be too soon. But here I am. The reason I'm here we go. The reason I'm here is because I don't want you to be afraid. So let's talk about it. Let's be reasonable about it. Let's just try and think clearly. Hello, friends. Welcome to Chickenlandia. My name is Dahlia. I'm a backyard chicken educator, also known as the president of Chickenlandia. Raising chickens has been the best way for me to find peace and joy in my life, and I want to help you find that too.
Look at me holding two babies. Are you being a good boy, Zorro? You are a good boy, and you're a good little girl. All right, I'm gonna put you guys down.
I think it was last spring, I had the opportunity to attend a city council meeting, and what was going on is that the city was considering making it legal to keep backyard chickens in the city limits. It was an amazing opportunity. I got to hear people's concerns, which are important to know about. I got to hear why people wanted to have chickens. But one thing that really stuck in my mind is that a woman stood up and she came up to the microphone and she said, you know, I'm really concerned about bird flu. And I don't want that to become an issue. I don't want to get bird flu. And you could just see like the fear and the concern in her face. And it made me really sad because I knew that she didn't have all the information and that she is definitely not alone. So before I go any further, my disclaimer is rolling right now. I am not a scientist. I am not a veterinarian. I am not a doctor of any kind. I do not work for any kind of government agency. I'm not in the Illuminati like some people have suggested in the comments. It happened. I am first and foremost an enthusiast. I'm a chicken enthusiast. I am a backyard chicken educator. I have a great passion for chickens, but no matter what I say or no matter what anyone says, what I want you to do is make sure that you do your own research, that you come up to your own conclusions so that you can feel good about making an educated decision about all the things that are going on concerning bird flu. So I just want to put that out there before I go any further. So you may have heard, or maybe you read, that recently a human being in the United States tested positive for highly pathogenic avian influenza, that's H5N1, also known as bird flu. This person was an employee at a dairy farm in Texas. They only had one symptom. It was conjunctivitis, so they had a little bit of an infection in their eye. As of the recording of this video, this person has fully recovered and they are fine now. This is only the second known person to have been possibly infected with avian influenza in the United States. The first person happened in 2022. It was a gentleman that was part of a pre-release prison program in Delta, Colorado. In other words, he was a prisoner and the prison had him working at a commercial poultry farm. This farm had tested positive for avian influenza, and part of his job was dealing with the culling of nearly 60,000 broiler birds, and that's meat birds. And when I say culling, I mean the killing of all these birds. That guy also fully recovered. He's totally okay now, as far as I know. He just reported feeling tired for a few days. And they also weren't completely sure that he was actually infected with the disease. They think that it is possible that since he was just in those conditions where there was so much viral material everywhere, and if you know anything about a poultry factory farm, I can't even imagine what those conditions were like. But since there was so much in the air, it's possible that he just had the viral material in his nose, and so when they did the swab, he tested positive. These two people are the only people in the United States that we know of that tested positive for H5N1 avian influenza. And I'm really stressing this because a lot of people, they will tell me, oh, I had bird flu, or oh, my friend had bird flu and it was awful. And that is just not the case. I'm sure they had the flu and they probably tested positive for the flu, but it wasn't H5N1. It wasn't what they're talking about in the news. It was just probably an awful flu. And I know that the flu can be awful because I had influenza A in 2018 and it was not just conjunctivitis or 5 days of feeling tired. I was sick for like 2 months. It was really bad. So I know that the flu can be awful, but if you're sick with the flu in the US, it is very probably not bird flu. And even if you're somewhere else in the world, bird flu, a human being catching bird flu is extremely rare. And there's never been a case where a human being caught bird flu and then passed it on to someone else. So, what we know about the first situation is that it happened in a factory farm setting. So this jump from bird to human happened in conditions that were very extreme. What we know about this recent situation is that it happened on a feedlot. So this person was working at a feedlot where the cows were thought to have been infected with avian influenza. And they believe that that infection probably came from a wild bird. There were also some cats in the area that they thought were infected, but presumably it came from the cows and passed on to the human being. Now, I wasn't able to find any information as far as how many cows were on this feedlot, what the conditions were. I don't know if that information is out there, but I wasn't able to find that. But what I do know is that a feedlot is not a natural condition for a cow to be in or for an animal to be in. What I also know is that the poultry house with 60,000 broilers that were being culled is not a natural condition for chickens to be in and for humans to be in. I don't want to say anything bad about this feedlot without knowing the specifics. But just knowing what I know about these places, it's very likely that these animals were crowded and stressed. And so that's what I want us to remember. It is very different conditions than what we're dealing with backyard chickens, where chickens are scratching the earth, they're feeling the sun on their backs, they're living a natural life as opposed to life in factory conditions. So why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling you because over the next few weeks or over the next few months, you are very likely going to read some headlines that might scare you. And, I hope that's not the case. I hope it ends now and we don't hear anything else about it. But knowing what I know, I think it's probable that we're going to see more cases and we're going to see more headlines. And in those headlines, we're going to see the word backyard flock. When you see those headlines, I just want you to ask yourself where the real danger is. Is the real danger in a backyard flock that isn't overcrowded, where people have good husbandry practices, the chickens have everything they need? Or could the real danger be in places like this? I'm not saying that avian influenza isn't real, and I'm not saying that it shouldn't be a concern. In fact, in a minute, I'm going to share with you some resources where you can find information on how to avoid avian influenza in your flock. What I'm saying is that I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to form opinions and make decisions that are based on fear. I want you to keep spending time with your chickens. I want you to keep taking great care of them like I know you are, because when it comes to most negative things, especially fear, I feel like the best defense against that is the peace that we feel within ourselves. That is real resilience. Okay, so if you want to know more about how you can prevent avian influenza in your backyard flock, there's definitely things that you can do to feel better, to feel like you're doing all you can to prevent it. I've got a whole playlist about avian flu, okay? And guess what? It's on the screen right now. All you have to do is click it. It's 100% friendly. Backyard chickens, education, and entertainment. And I know You're gonna love it.